you're a monster, you're ugly. I would kill myself if I looked like you. They were cutting off the right side of my face, or like using AI to mirror it as well and be like, this is how you could have looked.
Are you able to live a long, healthy life with this?
My image and my face is not to appease your limited ideas of what pretty is.
Hello, my beautiful, bold, too confident to be humble, confidence in progress, or just stepping into it, babes. This is the Confidence Hour, and I'm your host, Dani DMC, confidence connoisseur, professional hype woman in your forever safe space. Today, I am so excited and absolutely honored to have the beautiful Nikki Lilly, British YouTuber, author, and presenter. Nikki's journey started long before millions were watching. Growing up, she faced challenges most kids wouldn't even imagine, navigating life with AVM while finding her voice online. From just 11 years old, she began sharing her story, brave, real, and full of heart. Today, Nikki continues to inspire millions, using her platform to break barriers, champion authenticity, and show what self-love and resilience really look like. She's proof that early courage can turn into a powerful force for change. Nikki, I'm so thrilled to have you here on the Confidence Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's never like, I never get used to when people do those before bits. I'm like, I feel like that person being sung happy birthday to, and I just want to hide.
And you're like hiding.
This is not me. You're not talking about me.
But I am talking about you.
Thank you for
You're
having
incredible.
me.
Of course. I'm so glad that you took the time to do this.
Of
You've been a busy
course.
girl lately, which we'll get into all of that.
Yes.
But first, just a little background. You've been so open with living with AVM, and I want to know more about it. It's such a big part of your journey, and I think that there's not enough knowledge about it. For those who might not be familiar, could you share with us what it is and how it's shaped your life and experience thus far?
Yeah, so an AVM stands for arteriovenous malformation, and you have to kind of be born with an AVM, but it can be dormant till any age, really.
Okay.
And so when I was born, I had no idea that I had my condition until it became active at 6 years old. So what an AVM is a genetic fault when you're being formed in your mum, basically. And in between your arteries and veins, you have capillaries. And what capillaries do is they balance out high flow and low flow, because veins pump blood around your body at a low flow and arteries pump at a high flow. So I kind of describe capillaries as like the middleman who kind of balances out that pressure.
Okay.
But when you don't have capillaries where they need to be in your body, they collide directly into each other, which causes a build-up of pressure, swelling, bleeding. And so I, growing up, had a normal childhood till the age of 6. My right side of my face looked just like my left side. I knew no different, because it's also something you wouldn't naturally pick up on a scan or anything, or when your mum is, giving birth or something. And so I started with veins appearing on the right side of my face and some pain. And it was just a lot of referrals quite quickly. We went to like the GP, we call it, in the UK, and then we quickly got referred to like another doctor. I had some scans, and then we got referred to the best children's hospital in the UK. And after lots of scans, lots of tests, lots of like, we don't know what it could be, they told me I had an AVM, and instantly my world flipped on its axis for mine and my parents and my brother and sisters. Things were never the same. I was having surgeries every couple of months. To this day, I've had 98 surgeries ever since I was 6. And things just kind of snowballed from there. I became very ill very quickly. And it was swelling and pain on one side, but the worst part of my condition is bleeding. So I can get really bad nosebleeds. They've been life-threatening at times through the years. And so at the moment, there is no cure for AVMs. It's just everyone has a different, and it's not one size fits all. Everyone can have a different AVM in a different part of their body. So mine's in my face and my head, behind my eye. I'm blind in this eye. I lost my sight as my condition progressed and through surgeries and things. But you can have one in a limb, you can have one in your brain, and they all have different problems that they present, basically. The one you can get in your brain is the most common, so that affects 1 in 50,000, but one in your face affects 3 in a million. So mine's super rare, super diffuse, big. And so from an early age, it was a real struggle to try and work out how to even just like get a hold of, the symptoms that were kind of becoming out of control. And an AVM kind of grows with you. So it normally is either triggered in puberty or gets worse in puberty, because it's like the quicker you're growing, the quicker it can grow.
Okay.
I barely got to school once I became sick. My life became, if I wasn't at home, I was in hospital, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so the way that I would cope with it was through watching, YouTube and things like that. And that was my escapism, really, from being a sick kid and having no control over my life, when as a child all you should be worrying about is like the most mundane things and
playing outside.
Exactly, playing outside or learning about what you like or who you are as a person. I completely lost my sense of self. I went from being a very chatty and outgoing child that had loads, you know, to enrich her life, to nothing. And I, again, because I was, you know, losing my sense of self and also control over my appearance, and it was changing, I just became a recluse. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't go to school really, and if I did go outside, I'd often be stared at, or kind of children whispering to their parents when they looked at me. So I didn't want to leave the house, you know. And so that's, it was either my life became hospital or just being in my room.
Because you think about, obviously, like there's so many restraints you had physically, but there's obviously such a deep emotional journey that you had to go on as well. And definitely. At such a young age too.
I don't think I had an understanding of actually what was happening to me till I got older. I think, you know, at 6 you don't really understand what illness is unless you've been affected by it at that age. And so I thought it was going to be something like a cold where it would just go away. You know, I didn't think that it would be the rest of my life and then it would affect everything and stay, basically. And so I think that's what I really struggled with, is kind of, I was like, this can't be happening. I was kind of rejecting and not believing everything that was happening to me. It felt so surreal, like I was kind of just watching someone's life, like a film play out.
Like an outer body experience.
And like everything just kind of nosedive. But I had no, like, there was this like detachment to the fact that this is me. And I feel like it was only as I got a little bit older and I kind of confronted it more in different ways. You know, when I found makeup, it was me having to then actively look in the mirror at my appearance as I applied it. It was kind of things like that, finding things where, or looking in a viewfinder on a camera, things like that, where I think it helped me process it in a different way and actually have to confront it subconsciously.
So it's like you were enduring so much privately. And on such a deep level, both physically, emotionally, mentally, in every capacity of your life. And then you made this decision to open yourself up at such a young age.
I posted my first video at 8.
That's what I thought. I thought I've been doing YouTube for a long time.
When did you start?
2017.
Oh my God. So that is still the kind of the OG era.
Yes. But you're like a triple OG. What we would call in America a triple OG. But talk me through like how that even started for you. Like, how did you find the courage and confidence and that, you know, chutzpah inside of you to be like, okay, I'm gonna put myself out there? What kind of started that for you? So
like I said, obviously I'd watch videos a lot when I was in my hospital bed or not well at home on YouTube, and that was like my escapism. It was a way for me to feel like I was a part of someone else's life for that 10 minutes or 20 minutes or however long I was watching those videos. I took myself out of mine and all the hardships I was going through, because everything going on in my life consumed me, and for that 10 minutes I was consumed by someone else's, and it kind of felt like that was my connection with the outside world or these people that I didn't know. It was kind of that parasocial relationship. But I felt like I could just escape into their lives, you know, someone talking about lipstick or something. It was something for me to take my mind off of what I was going through. And so for me, that's where it started. It was like watching like Zoella and like that era of, you know, YouTube, or like loads of American beauty gurus and stuff when they do their like Sephora hauls and things. I just fell in love with it. And so even growing up, I was always in my own world. I could have any toy or anything, but for me it was my mind that I loved to kind of escape into for things and come up with things. I loved to role play. That was, you know, what I loved doing. And so from a very early age, it was like pretending I was American on a TV show. I'd be like, hey guys, so for today's video, we're going to do...
Why did we all do that? I feel like all YouTubers, when we were younger, we were the ones that were like doing talent shows and like having everyone sit down, and I would steal my mom's camera and we're like creating our, like, that's all of our story.
When I was younger, I loved dancing. I'd put on like Adele and I'd make my mom and brother sit down and watch me and be like, what would you give it out of 5? Like we were on X Factor, or we'd be
literally
really
X Club 7. Me and my sister would like perform.
But it was like I always loved doing stuff like that. And also I think as my appearance changed, it was a world in which I existed, you know, the world inside my head. Because I didn't see any toys that looked like me. I didn't see anyone in kids shows that looked like me or in life. And so how do I know that that exists basically outside of myself, and that I don't feel alone and like a black sheep. And
it's like you needed that representation, so
completely,
you became it yourself.
Yeah, so like not thinking that was the case, that wasn't why I did it, because I was so young. I didn't think it was for that, but it was like, it was a world in which I could exist. It became my little universe and corner of the internet. So we had a family iPad that like we would all share, and when my brother and sister would go to school, I was obviously too unwell to go to school, and so it was my time that I could go on the iPad and not be bothered by them being like, can I have it now? And I just filmed little videos on it, like nail tutorials or whatever it was, just talking, no cuts, no nothing, and didn't know how to edit, didn't know how to do anything. I just knew how to stop and start the record button. And one day I went to my parents and asked if I'd be able to post this and if they'd be able to help me create a YouTube account. And my mum was a bit more begrudging than my dad. I think my dad was like, yeah, let's do it, you know. My mum was obviously a bit anxious for me, the fact that I was someone that looked different to, you know, most people in the world, but also I was a child. And so I'd kind of, though things had been really difficult, we were in this bubble. You know, I was in this bubble, like all I knew was them and like the few people, you know, that were also in that bubble. And so I didn't really have that understanding of what the outside world could be like, you know, in good ways and bad ways. Yeah. And so I think after a bit of convincing, my mum was like, okay, yeah, she understood that even though she was a bit apprehensive, it could be something really great for me and for me to put my energy and time into, and just a project for myself when I had nothing. Yeah. And so I filmed my first video, I posted it, and the only way that I could do it was if initially we had comments turned off. Okay. So for the first 2 years till I was 10, comments were turned off. It was literally just for me to post. And
was that your parents' idea or?
Yeah, my parents' idea. And I was fine with that because I didn't even care about that. I didn't even really care about like the outside world. I didn't really understand it.
It was so young.
Exactly. Yeah. It was quite literally just so I could film videos and post them somewhere and like watch them back and see them, you know?
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, a little way to like chronicle things. And so, yeah, 2 years went by. I just post every now and then. It wouldn't be often. It would just be whenever I felt like it. Just post, no cuts, no nothing. And then... yeah,
if only we could do that now.
Oh my God. Like I could never, the amount of times that I'm like, okay, this tiny bit needs to be cut. Yes. Like I kept a lot in though that I like shouldn't have. Like I'd be like, okay, and now I'm going to do a fart. And like I would just keep it in. Like I look back at it. I did a video.
I'm so glad I wasn't a YouTuber when I was a kid, because I was worse than you, Nikki, I would have been saying some crazy stuff.
No, honestly, like I used to do these like cooking videos, but I wasn't cooking, it was just mixing a bunch of ingredients, but that didn't ever make anything. Yeah. But there's like an innocence and an unhingedness to that is so nice to look back on, I think, because I was doing a prom makeup tutorial when I was 10. Yeah. Like what did I know about prom? Yeah. Or school? You know, I didn't. And I'd be like, you know, some people I hear are having prom at the moment, and like it was, you know, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. But I think that was the beauty to it at the time, is that social media now has become quite curated, and obviously it's a job that both me and you do, which is so amazing. But back then, no one even knew that it could be a job. It was never a thing. And so I think there was
trying as hard.
Exactly. There was such an innocence to that time and such a freedom. And so that was what it was to me. It was just super freeing. And so then after 2 years, I asked my parents if they'd allow me to turn the comments on, and they did, but it was kind of with the preface that, you know, not everyone is kind, and just, this is in your control. You continue if you want to, you don't if you don't. It's yours, which I really appreciated. 10. Okay. And so the comments got turned on, and it wasn't like I had loads of comments. It wasn't like my channel like boomed from day one. Didn't care. I think I had like, I don't know, 30 subscribers, like nothing. But the people that had commented when I turned my comments on were lovely. It was a lot of people saying, I'm not going through the same thing as you, but I really appreciate your breath of fresh air. There was one comment I got in particular. I say the story a lot because it will always stay with me. And it was someone that had cancer, a woman that had cancer, and she was in her 30s. And she said that she hadn't left her house for 2 years because she felt so underconfident and just so angry at the world, understandably. And she said after watching some of my videos and just seeing me kind of go about my life, she left the house for the first time.
Don't you love that?
And it's stuff like that.
Of this all.
But it's like so unbeknownst to me. Like I really just was playing with makeup because that's what I needed, and posting it for myself. So that was when I realized that, wow, this is kind of bigger than me. Yeah. And I got so many lovely comments and encouragement that spurred me on. But equally got some not so nice comments, people just saying what's happened to your face, which is fine. I can answer that question, no problem. But then you're a monster or you're ugly and things like that started rolling in. And when you already don't accept yourself, and you're so young, so impressionable, any little comment like that you will just absorb and believe 100%. Fully. And so I think I remember seeing some of those comments and having a little cry to my parents because I just didn't understand that people could be so unkind, especially when they had no idea, you know, what I was like as a person, everything I was going through. It just felt so horrible to do, you know.
And you hadn't really been in school, right?
Yeah.
So you hadn't endured bullying in school. Okay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This was kind of your first experience with bullying.
Yeah, and the outside world in that way. Of course, I'd had the whispers and the stares, but this felt like outright kind of comments.
Like directly to you.
Exactly, yeah. And I couldn't believe that these were people, you know, behind then, you know, usernames. This was a person. They're taking the time to do that. And so it was really difficult for me. And I definitely did question, do I want to continue doing this? But after having, you know, some time away from, you know, making videos and things, I think I realized, well, if anything, this is more of a reason too, because otherwise I'm letting those comments and that person behind the screen win. And I think that's what I realized. And over the years, the older I've gotten, the more that, of course, comments get to me and there's powers in numbers. You know, I'm a very sensitive, overly emotional person. I absorb it all and have internalized and stuff. But the older I've got, the more I've realized that it's just sad. Like, that person is just sad.
It is.
Like, I feel sorry for them, genuinely.
That's what I always say. I think that, like, now where I'm at, I've been through so much where I have empathy for these people. Yeah. Because it's like, I feel so sad that your mind can't be so open and you're brainwashed by this image that society has set for you. Yeah. And you're so unable to free yourself of that. No. And you could really open your eyes and experience other people. And I think that's the thing is, like, when you've been through hardship as a kid, whether it's physical hardship, internal hardship, it allows you to be empathetic for other people.
Oh yeah.
Like, when I see you, I instantly see power. I see beauty. I see resilience.
Thank you.
Like, it's just so easy for me. I don't see anything other than that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're able to, even though we have completely different stories, you're able to see yourself in someone else when you struggled being bullied or being told you're ugly or you're not worthy or you're not lovable.
Totally.
And so it's people that, like, haven't experienced that or haven't healed from that. They then just put that on you.
There's a level of just, like, you know, I've never, even if I've maybe not agreed with someone, I've never ever, even in my darkest times, thought to comment something, because why do you care?
I always say that.
Same. You know?
I've never in my life gone on social media. And I've even had friends where, like, the Shade Bro or Shade Room or stuff.
Yeah.
I've had girlfriends where I see them, like, comment negative things and I, like, call them. Like, what are you doing? Why?
Yeah.
And they're not content creators. But so I feel like as a content creator, you really understand.
For sure. If you kind of pick it apart like that and turn it on its head and try and, like, make it logical, these people want attention. They're sad in their own lives. They have nothing better to do.
Yeah, it's so true.
And of course, if someone calls you ugly 1,000 times in a comment section, different people, of course you're going to somewhat believe it.
Of course.
But if you think about what types of people are saying that, then it changes how much it affects you.
And how much you internalize it.
Exactly. So for me, it's not water off a duck's back, but I've realized, you know, with the amount of things that I've achieved, you're just sitting in a dark room, like, feeling brave because you've got a screen in between us to comment things. And to me, that's sad.
Yeah. One of the things that happened to you recently that I was like, I already wanted you on the podcast, but I was like, we need to be on the Confidence Hour together, was the video that, like, kind of went viral of yours where people were altering your face, photoshopping your face to be equal on both sides.
Or just cutting off this side. Yeah.
It made me literally, like... I commented on your video. Yeah. It made me so angry.
It's crazy. It's even a thing, right?
Ridiculous. I know. How dare you?
It was the fact that video also was nothing about that. It was literally a photo. The one that went viral was a photo of me when I was younger and then me older. Okay. That was it. Just a photo, like, growing up. That's it. Like any other person would do on the trend. But because I happen to have a facial difference, they thought, like, they were cutting off the right side of my face and re-commenting it in the comment section, or, like, using AI to mirror it as well and be like, this is how you could have looked. And people commenting just the photo itself, no context. Words, no context, or being like, oh, the world knew you were too pretty that they had to do this to you, or the potential you could have had.
Yeah, that's the one I saw, that wasted.
Yeah. It was like a trend. It was constant.
Like ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
I was so proud of you though. For that video that you made, because I feel like if you saw those standalone, I didn't see any of it until you posted that video. And I think if you saw those standalone things, you'd be like, wow, that's really horrific. But for you to put it together in a video like that, it really mirrored, look at yourself.
Yeah.
Look, and I know that even if that impacted 5 bullies, you did your job. That's my opinion. And I'm sure it impacted way more people than that, because when you see it put together like that, and a lot of these people are like, oh, I'm doing her a favor. Like I'm telling her that half of her face is beautiful, or whatever the case may be. For you to say, no, actually you're hurting me more. And this is not what I want. And stop doing this. This is not okay. It's inappropriate.
It's almost worse than saying you're ugly or a monster, because you're erasing half of me that is very much real.
Yes.
And that I've spent years and years and years working through to try and accept.
And clearly I've accepted, because I'm here. I'm in a public space. I'm online all the time. I'm not covering my face. I'm not hiding. I'm not staying in the house like I thought I was going to for most of my life as a kid.
And sorry if that doesn't make you comfortable, because you have such a small idea of what normal is. I think that's what it is. It's like, why is that even in your realm of consciousness to do? Yeah. Like if I saw that, I would never, of course I have a different perspective because I have a visible difference. Yeah. But I would just never think like, oh, I'm going to spend my time screenshotting the face, cropping the face, or running that photo through AI to ask them to do this. There are so many things that have to go through your head to get to that point, which I think is just so crazy, firstly. And secondly, it's just like what I said is like my image and my face is, you know, not to appease your limited ideas of what pretty is or what normal is.
Ooh.
You know,
that's a bar.
Yeah.
Rewind and play that back.
Loads of people did drawings of me, like after the video I put out. And I think I spent a week kind of sitting on it before I actually did the video, because I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to act out of impulse and emotion, because I have I had a lot stronger words that I could have said, you know? And so, and you know, I
could take a note.
Some of them were warranted for sure, but I was like, let me just sit on this and work out if I actually want to do this, but also how to put this in the right way that I'm like trying to hold these people accountable, but equally be like, get off my page, but equally be like, just look inwards. And it was kind of just the fact that you're commenting these things, but tomorrow this could be you. You could be in an accident, or you could be diagnosed with a condition, or become disabled,
or
burn
someone
yourself.
You love, someone you
exactly
know.
That. Exactly that. And people these days are so selfish that they can't seem to see outside of themselves and don't care unless something affects them. And so what I really wanted the video to be about is, of course, I didn't want to somewhat pull more attention to it, but equally I think it was the needed attention. Agreed. And the right attention. And I was just kind of fed up with it. I was like, I use social media. Of course, it's not always positive at times, but I use it as my escapism and to connect with people and to reply to comments. And if I can't go into my comment section without seeing one of those pictures or one of your comments, then that becomes a completely negative place for me, you know? And so I think loads of people that are supportive and were lovely were replying to those comments and backing me up and, you know, defending me, which was so lovely. However, it just got to the point where I was like, this is not okay. Yeah. And I never, ever, ever in the past have addressed hate like that in my over 10 years of doing social media. But I was just like, this is so actively, like, the fact that people think they're doing me a favor was so actively passive aggressive and like condescending and like everything else wrong with that I was just like, hang on, you're not being a savior here. You're not helping me at all. I think people have this like complex of like, people were commenting, I fixed it. And like then doing the mirrored image. And I was like, what? Yeah. What did you fix?
Have you actually what have you done? Mad? Yeah. You're
and
hurting me.
And then there's fulfillment that they did that. Where have you helped me?
And I think another thing too that's so hard is like, even outside of ourselves, is when you get hate. I don't know if you feel this way too. It's impacting, like, let's say there's a young girl watching you, like you said, that has cancer or has some other visible disability or visible difference. I feel this way. For me, the word, like for you, monster, for me, it was fat. Like that was my kryptonite when I was a kid. You could say that and it would make me, now it's not like it literally, it's like another word. It's like
any other word.
Literally. Yeah. But when people say, oh, you're a fat piece of shit or whatever the case may be, I feel the urge to respond or protect my community because it's like, this is bigger than just me.
And I feel like it's also, I retreat into that young little version of myself, right? I feel like that's even the biggest reason why I do what I do. I'm sure you feel the same. Is of course, it's for your community and the people that follow you. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is for that little version of myself that didn't 100%. Have that. And so for me, I retreat into that little Nikki when those things are commented. Any little bit of self-work I've done feels undone so quickly. And so for me, it was, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let this unravel. And I'm not going to let people think that this is okay. So even when I posted some of the things that people had posted as screenshots, I didn't take out their names because why should I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good on you for that. I feel like even sometimes I feel like I want to protect people that are causing harm to me. And it's
they don't care about us being protected.
And you chose to put this on a public platform.
Yeah.
Look at yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with social media. Too much of it is nameless, faceless, traceless.
It's so true.
And no one is reprimanded, There's
no accountability.
For some of the things people comment, it should be a crime, truly.
No, I agree.
I so want, I talk a lot I spoke at the United Nations this year, and a lot of it was to do with, how there's not enough done by social media platforms to reprimand people. The fact that you just have to put in an email, a name, and a password, and boom, you've got an account is not good enough.
I agree.
At all.
I totally agree. And one thing I've talked about a lot too is that I think a lot of us creators are resilient beings. I think a lot of us, similar to like actors or musicians, a lot of us had damaged childhoods. Mm-hmm. We've all been through a lot to get where we are. And I think that because we're so resilient, we haven't seen higher cases of suicide in content creation. Yeah. I just feel like if you were to go to the general masses and like switch this up, the suicide rates would be so high because like there's so many things, like you said, it should be a crime that are said. Yeah. The DMs, people telling you to kill. I've gotten so many like telling you to kill yourself, end your life, like all of these things. It's ridiculous.
People saying also, I would kill myself if I looked like you. Yeah.
Yes. It's like, there's not enough protection of us as creators. You want to make so much money off us, and we're making money off you, and this is supposed to be a business. Where's the HR?
Yeah. And
where's HR? Because if we were in a 9 to 5, there would be, if I had a coworker saying these things to me, he'd be fired.
That's it. Imagine if your workplace knew the things you were commenting.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think it's insane how much people get away with things. And when all these social media platforms are preaching about it being a positive community and fostering a positive community, there's only so much we can do that. The block button only goes so far. And the times I have tried to report things, it's, this doesn't affect our guidelines. This doesn't, we didn't see any violation here. This doesn't violate our guidelines. I think someone telling me to kill myself or, that I'm a monster does.
Yeah, that's like a violation of basic human rights.
Exactly.
So
exactly that. And so I think there's nowhere near enough legislation. My appearance is a part of me, of course, and it's shaped me 110% into who I am. But it's the least interesting thing about me. It plays a role into everything I do, but it's just the cover of a book, like anyone's.
Yes.
It's not my story or what defines me at all. And I wish that people just took a minute to be less self-indulgent and less judgmental. As a society, I think we've become so judgmental because we think we can, and it's not okay. And I think, why at schools are we taught about, algebra or Pythagoras theorem when we should just be taught about how to, every single person in the world is probably using social media in some type of way. Yes. Even if it's just to look something up, that is a social media.
Yes.
And of all ages, of all demographics, of every single part of the world, likely. And so the fact that none of us are taught how to use social media in the right way, even though that shouldn't be a thing, but if we have to, from, as soon as we start school.
We can't avoid anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. We can't avoid it. It's in every part of life. It's in work. It's in everything.
Yeah.
We can't escape it. The fact we're not taught that, but we're taught things that we will 1%, if that, of the population will use, when 99.99% of the population will use the lessons we'll be taught in school about using social media and the internet in a kind way.
It's so true.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I always say, like, for me, something that's really important for my personal work and mission is I really want to do work in schools with younger kids, teaching them confidence, empathy, and leadership.
I love.
Because we smack kids on the wrist when they bully, barely.
Yeah.
But why don't we approach it from before the bullying even happens?
Yes.
Like you said, we're teaching algebra and Pythagorean theorem and
like
all this
it's just stuff we don't need to know.
Literally. But it's like we're not teaching kids how to empathize,
How to be decent
or how to
people.
be kind, or
Yeah.
how to be a leader. Because to me, leadership is like the root of all. When you realize I'm okay standing on my own, you don't have to like me or accept me, but I love me.
Yes.
That is what kids need to be taught.
Oh, completely. I think I spent so much of my childhood, especially because then when my parents changed, I felt even more of an outsider. Just wanting to be liked and accepted and the same as everyone.
100%.
Growing up, like I think you really want to be the same as everyone else, whether it's in the music you listen to, the clothes you wear, your hairstyle, the most simple things. I remember sitting myself down and like forcing myself to listen to like rap music that I would not have listened to otherwise, because I'm like an indie girly, because I was like, well, if I ever get invited to a party, which I never did, and this song comes on or these songs come on, I don't want to be the only one that can't sing the words.
I want to be cool. I want to know what everyone else knows.
I want to be accepted. I want to be liked, as we all do in life to some extent. But as you get older, at least this is how I feel, I've realized that actually the things that I was trying to run away from, whether it's my parents or my personal interests or my quirks or weirdnesses that aren't weirdnesses, you know, they make you, are actually the things that as an adult I'm learning to celebrate.
And they make you so cool.
Yeah.
Like we have this idea of what cool is. But as an
normal
adult,
is boring.
Yeah, normal's so boring.
Yeah.
And it's the individuality that makes you cool, whether it's physically, whether it's your interest, whether it's what's going on internally. Like that's why I love how you said there's so much more to you on the inside and then just other than your face and your visible difference. I just think that's how you said it's like the cover of a book.
Exactly.
And okay, so that leads me now to like, talk to me about how everything clicked for you. Like how you kind of fell more into like, okay, I do love myself. I accept myself, even though the world is saying all this and these comments, etc. When was that moment for you where you felt like, I am sure of myself?
You know what? I would say it's literally been this year. Like I feel like for a long time, if I'm going to be so honest, I was preaching about self-love and, you know, confidence and all of these things. And I believed in them. And when I was telling other people to be confident, to be themselves, to, you know, embrace what makes you you, I truly believed that as I was saying it, but I didn't believe that for myself, if that makes sense. Like it's like telling your friend advice that you wholeheartedly believe, but you can't take it yourself. It's the same.
Which so many of us do.
I still do it.
Yeah.
And
same. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm saying this, but I really should take this advice. I'm like,
oh, that was good advice. But why am I not saying it to myself? Why am I not also taking this? You know, it's just different. And so I think I came to the point where I realized that I was honestly standing in my own way. My insecurities and my things that, again, I was trying to run away from or not accepting was actually me standing in my own way and not being able to fully be 100% myself and run with that. And it's difficult, you know, being in this industry when everything is about your appearance to an extent, you know, even if it's just as simple as like, there's been times I've been on a brand trip and no one else looks like me. And then I'll look at that photo and I'm so aware that I'm the only person there that looks the way I do. And I'm sure you feel the same way. And that can be really difficult.
Definitely.
And so I think this industry is sometimes a little bit like high school. That's how it feels. You kind of retreat a little bit back into kind of those feelings you had in yourself when you were at school. But what I've learned is that it is such a saturated industry, it's such a saturated world, and there's only one of you. So what is the point trying to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way when someone next door is doing that? It took a lot of time, and even now, am I 100% there? No.
Yeah.
Do I 100% love myself and feel sure in myself? No. Will I go up to people with assurance? No. But am I now accepting of the things that I've been running away from and using those things that make me who I am to do what I wanted to do, just in a different way? Yeah. So it's even, I'd say a moment for me was even just very, very recently. I love fashion and I love beauty because those were parts of my life that, you know, I found after I got diagnosed. They were like my newfound hobbies and interests that I then put into my channel. Yeah. And for me, you know, when my appearance and my life and my body, not one part of my body has not got cut on it from surgeries. my leg, my neck, everywhere has on my body. My body has never been mine from the age of 6.
Wow.
It's been like giving it away to doctors constantly, like a dummy on a table, just to be practiced with and operated on. And that's something that I really struggle with now. It's never felt like mine, like I have ownership over it. And if I have, it's felt like it was against me because I was never well. It was never operating how it should, especially when as a young person, it should be you in your prime, healthiness and everything. And so for me, makeup and fashion felt like ways to reclaim ownership of my appearance, whether it was what I wear or it was me deciding to put on a red lipstick or like dye my hair this color. It was things that allowed me to reclaim and take ownership again and autonomy over myself. Wow. And so for me, I've always loved fashion. I just thought it was magic and beauty, but I never felt, you know, embraced by the fashion industry because there's only one type of person, one size, one look, one shape, one appearance on the majority of runways in any place that, you know, fashion is, as you know.
Yes.
And so recently I went to Cannes Film Festival and I was wearing this brand's dress, and all they believe in is redefining standards in the, you know, fashion industry and trying to push people and change things for the better. They don't want any other person. They want people that are of interest and that are unique. And so I wore their dress and the response was insane. I was on the carpet in Cannes and I was so scared because I was like, French press, I don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah,
I don't
it's intimidating.
know. So intimidating. No one's going to know who I am. I'm just going to stand there like a statue and just, you know, no one's going to put up their camera to take a photo of me. I retreated into that like imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be here. You know, everything that I felt. And the response was insane. Like the amount of press that came from it, just from me being there, not saying anything, meant so much, because I think in so much of what I do, it's advocacy, it's talking about, you know, how things need to be better, it's using my voice. But sometimes you get to a point where you just feel like you're speaking to a void and nothing is changing. And so the fact that I actually didn't say anything, I just was there, and that said 1,000 words, and people took something from that in a positive way. You know, it was in Vogue, it was in Elle, it was like everywhere. It was the first time. Yeah, and I was just there. You know, I was just there. I just showed up as myself. And so that's what I've realized is showing up as myself does the most, you know? And it was so this brand that I wore in Cannes just asked me to, well, a few months ago, asked if I'd want to walk in their show. And in Paris
Fashion Week.
Yeah, I was so scared. I was like, I said yes because I'm always like yes to these things.
Yeah.
And
how do you say no to that?
Exactly. I can't say no. And also I wanted to support them because they supported me.
Yeah.
And they believed in me. But equally, I was like, well, this is such a big deal for people with facial differences in my community, and hopefully it's a start, you know? So I was like, I can't say no to this. And then the closer and closer it got, I was like, I'm so out of my depth. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. My posture is terrible. I can't walk in a straight line. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I did it. And I think what I'm proving to myself with each of these things I do, speaking at the United Nations, walking the carpet in Cannes, you know, these things, it's like I'm learning that I can do them in spite of my condition and everything that I've been put up against. And I've realized my worst enemy is myself. All of these things that I was sure that I wouldn't be able to do, or that leading up to it, I've told myself something bad is going to happen, because that's always been my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to fall over, I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to make a fool of myself, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb when everyone else can walk the way that you should on a catwalk. I'm proving to myself in these things that actually the opposite has happened. And I think that's also been really fulfilling for me. And like, the show did so, you know, well, and it was like Vogue runway saying that I was the best part of the show.
And Nikki, like, you literally looked like an angel.
Thank you.
I commented that on your post. You looked like, I think the silhouette of the dress as well, you looked like a floating angel. And the way they pulled back your hair, like, you just looked stunning. You looked ethereal. It was,
I blacked out, honestly. Like, my manager came and he was like, oh, did you see me? And I was like, I didn't see anyone. I just saw blur. I was so nervous, and I couldn't, I'm someone that I wish I could be more present, but I can't enjoy things till they're over, and I'm like, it's done. Again, it's that playing dress up. I think I was so nervous, and actually once the dress was on, once the makeup and hair was done, and I kind of came into myself in this role of whatever it was, you know, I think that was a big part of what allowed me to do it, you know. And that just shows you the power of like makeup and fashion. It isn't to hide. I think a lot of some people and, you know, that see on social media have this connotation that, you know, what we wear and us having full face makeup on is for other people. And it's also to try and, you know, cover things, catfish things. It's none of that. To me, it's about enhancing who I am and allowing myself to then be the best version of myself because I feel more confident.
Yeah.
And
to
it's
me,
beautiful.
It's like, I feel like it's self-love. Like
100%.
for me, it's like getting up, dressing every day. It is playing dress up. And for me, it's so healing because as a kid, I couldn't dress the way I wanted to because they didn't make clothes that fit me.
Yeah.
So it's like now that I'm able, there is a little bit more inclusion and representation, a little bit more. I'm able to dress the way I want. And it's like dress up every day. Same with sitting down at my vanity and like drinking my morning smoothie and like putting my makeup on. It is nothing about covering up. It's about just like I go to the gym to take care of my health. It's like these things that I do to pour into myself.
Internally.
Yes.
Yeah, internally fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And therefore you're, like you said, it's that little version of you.
Yes.
So for me, in every single thing I do, I was like, well, if little Nikki saw this, even if it doesn't make a difference for anyone else, as obviously I hoped it would, but if little Nikki saw a model that looked like her, I'm not a model, but a model that looked like her.
You are a model.
But I mean,
girl, I'm sorry. She ain't a model unless she's been in Vogue. That's a Drake lyric, okay? You just walked Paris Fashion Week. You are, in fact, a model.
Thank you.
Own it, okay?
Okay, I'm owning it. I'm owning it, Dani.
Okay, so start your sentence again. I'm a model.
So if little Nikki saw a model that looked like her walking on a runway and like owning that, she would feel like it's possible. And if you don't see difference, then how do you know that it exists? It's crazy, especially because I think what it's done is for the people that I have connected to, it's redefined why people are staring at me when I go out. Because for so much of my life, like I said, I would be stared at or people whispering to each other or kids kind of pointing at me because of my appearance, because it was just different to what they'd known or seen before, which was really, really difficult for me because I just felt like a monster. I felt like such an outsider and othered. And what's so nice now is that I'd say 90% of the time someone is staring at me now when I go out is because they know me. And it's because they know me as Nikki Lilly, not because of, okay, they might recognize me because of my appearance as they do anyone. They have to look at you to know who you are. But equally, it's they're like, oh my gosh, it's Nikki. Yeah. And I think that's what's also been really nice for me is that it's healed the narrative and the meaning of what those actions or things, you know, how they used to affect me because it's different.
Yeah. That's so true. So now where you're at with your confidence, it's an ever growing, ever flowing journey, like I say. How is your community? Like, are you close with your siblings? Do you have good friends in your life? Like, are you close with your parents? How is that?
My like intimate family unit is my mom, my dad, and I'm the youngest. So I have a older sister and an older brother. He's the oldest. We are so close. I love that. I think especially when you go through something so life-altering, it doesn't just affect you. It has such a ripple effect on, you know, the close people around you. My parents, my mom had to give up her job to look after me. She's essentially been my carer since I got diagnosed at 6. I've grown up with a lot of guilt for it, but her purpose for the majority of, you know, the time I've been alive has been me and looking after me and being with me, sleeping with me next to my hospital bed, whatever it is, it's coming with me to my appointments. It's been me. And the same with my dad, you know, for 5-6 years, we were flying to America for medical treatment. And so that was, you know, them using their savings for my treatment. It was them flying with me every 6 to 8 weeks and our life being up in the air to go. And then it was my brother and sister who had to deal with this, you know, their parents not being very physically present sometimes, having to prioritize their sick child, you know, times where they couldn't go to parents' evenings and things. I mean, I feel the most guilty for it. No one's ever made me feel like that, but I know none of them resent me and they all just want to protect me. And they've seen firsthand how difficult my life has been. My brother and sister are very protective over me, and so is my mum and dad. But I remember when I used to get stared at in public, it was like my sister like being like, what?
Yeah,
like, you know,
that would be me.
Yeah,
that would be me.
Like they're very protective over me. I'm always going to, being the youngest, I'm always going to be the baby of the family. So, you know, we've all been affected by it in different ways. I think still, we all deal with it in different ways. It's not like my condition has gone away. It's still very much here. And, you know, we've all had things that have happened to us since from it. My brother dealt a lot with, you know, really bad anxiety and health anxiety from everything that's happened. And we've all dealt with it in different ways, you know, and it's manifested in different ways, but we are such a close family unit. You know, my dad is like my number one fan in every single thing I do. And so is my whole family. They only ever see me as Nikki because that's who they know.
Isn't that the best, though?
It's so nice to come home to people that just know you.
Yes.
In terms of friends, it took me a long time to find people that felt like my people, because also a lot of people, not in like a condescending way, but weren't on the same maturity level that I was at emotionally.
You are insanely mature.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you had to grow up very fast, obviously, but
I've always got along better with adults when I was a child.
Yeah.
It was like I'd hang out with a couple of friends, but when their parents would come and pick them up, I'd speak more to them.
I was like that too,
Really?
you know? Yes,
Yeah.
I used to hang out with some of my guy friends, their moms.
I
like,
loved
we'd go
it.
out for lunch.
Yeah, literally. I was always like my friend's like the favorite of my friends' parents because I would always talk to them.
Even though I was a bad kid, they still like loved me because I'd hang out with them.
Yeah, you'd give them time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I always had that growing up. I always connected more with older people. Like my mom was like one of the closest people ever to me. And so I struggled a lot growing up. I don't really feel like I ever had friends. I kind of moved through people I'd be close with for a little bit, but nothing consistent. And I think because I was having surgery so much and in and out of school so much, that age, children are quite fickle. And it's really about like the more you see someone, the more your friendship matters, rather than like you being friends and then making an effort to check in on you. At least that's how I found it growing up. And then I think at the age of like 17, 18, I found like a good group of friends.
Yeah.
And I think even in this industry, you know, sometimes it's hard to know like who are genuine friends, who you would genuinely go for a coffee and hang out with and it not be for anything.
Yes.
I think I've got like about 5 of those people.
Oh, that's really good, Nikki.
Yeah.
That's way more than me, girl.
Really?
I mean, I just moved here.
Girl,
Okay, yeah.
now we've got each other, genuinely.
Thank you. That's so
But I
sweet.
think that's what's so important as well in this industry where it can feel very transactional.
Yeah.
For me, I've learned that it's always going to be quality over quantity. And what I love about my
100%.
friends now is that they always say like, now I've got some great guy friends, but growing up, I never had any guy friends because I was scared of them. Like I was scared of guys, even just to look in their direction, not even in a romantic way, but because majority of my hate comments were from guys and boys, I was like, oh, you all think this? I can't even look at you. Like I couldn't even give eye contact to anyone, even in a friendly way. And you know, now I have quite a few guy friends, and that's really nice. I had like a deep chat with one of my guy friends during summer. We just sat at the top of like Primrose Hill, which is the park in London, and we just kind of like were having a deep chat. We'll be like, is it deep chat time? And we'll just start having a deep chat. And
you love how with your guy friends you have to like say, we're gonna have a deep
and
chat now.
We transition. Yeah, it's so funny.
They need that like buffer.
Yeah. And now we take a turn. But he was saying like, I was just talking about appearance and like how much of a big role it's played in my life in a different way. And he was saying like, it's not even the 50th thing that I think, like your appearance isn't even the 50th thing that I look at or think about when I just like think of you as a person.
That's how I feel about you too, and I barely know you. That's like literally how I felt from the moment I first started seeing your content. And I think
that's the most healing thing for me.
Yeah.
That it isn't defining me.
Yeah.
At least for the people that then get to know me or see me in that way.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think it's beautiful too that even people that don't know you in that deep way, someone like me is able to just see that power in you just off rip. And I think that's a testament to everything you're doing, how you carry yourself, everything that you've endured. I see that in you, you know, like when you've been through a lot, you're able to see that in other people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
More than you see it in yourself.
True.
Yeah.
It's so true. Why is that?
Don't know.
Yes,
We're hard on ourselves
I know.
here. Like, but I've realized, you know, the biggest thing I say to people is the voice. I mean, I constantly have like an internal voice. Like, it's crazy. Some people actually don't. That's what I've realized. But, you know, the voice in your head is the one you will hear 90% of the time in life. So try your best to make that voice kind.
You have to train it.
You have to.
Really, and I always say it's like a rewiring of your mind because we're taught all these things as kids, and you need to rewire your mind. Yeah. That's the voice you said you're going to hear the most. So make sure it's the kindest.
Exactly.
Like, I love that.
It takes time, but so long as you're actively trying, that's what you can do.
That's what's most important.
Yeah.
If you're open to talking about it, I would love to know your experience with dating. You're in your early 20s now. A lot happens in the love life in the 20s. Child, I would not want to go
babe,
back there.
it's like non-existent. Like I've been on like a couple of dates and I just hate dating apps. I can't stand it.
What's your thoughts on dating apps? Because it's all physical.
Yes, exactly.
It's so appearance based. No one's, I mean, let's be for real. I'm not reading any type of, like, I'll skim them, but I'm not actually reading.
No, you're Xing.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it, or hearting.
Yeah.
And understandable. But
it's
I
like
think
a game.
It is a game.
My friends say that. Yeah.
It is literally like a game. And I joined like Hinge and I take none of it seriously.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I really struggle to get to know people, especially now that I'm sure you feel the same. We do social media.
It's an added component.
It's an added component for sure. And you never know what people's intentions are in that respect. But then also, I think I've internalized a lot the idea that it's me being my own worst enemy, that people would only go out with me because they feel sorry for me. And I'm learning to unlearn that now because I've learned everyone's life is short. Like they won't waste their time.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I was going out with like who was my best guy friend at the time, my first guy friend. I've learnt my biggest like love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. Like if I don't hear it, I don't believe it. Like that's what fulfills me.
I'm a words of affirmation.
Yeah, I really am. And like he just couldn't really, I'd be like, but why? He wouldn't like affirm me. I'd be like, but why do you like me? But why? And I was in a time where I was so underconfident. It's not his job to constantly tell me, but it was like there wasn't that validation. And so in my head, I internalized that as you're only going out with me because you feel sorry for me. And we were together like for like a few months and it just didn't work. And then we lost our friendship because of that, which was really difficult. That. Yeah. But since I think I haven't ever like been in a long-term relationship, and I think I'm very aware of timelines and comparison and how like some of my friends are at uni and like or have been in constant long-term relationships or you know have something going on at least. And I feel like dating's always been part of my life where it's just been like non-existent, and I think that's partly because I don't put myself out there.
I was gonna say, do you feel like you've opened yourself up to it?
Not really. I mean, I'm trying to more recently. Like my friend made me set up a Hinge account and I'm not using it, to be honest, because also there's people that will then message me like, oh, I love your videos, like same. Oh I can't stand it. Or I had the other day like my sister loves you, and I'm like, oh god,
like do you think I'm gonna respond to you now? That's so awkward. I'm uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Even if you know me, lie. Don't tell me.
Don't tell me. It's the first thing you say.
Yes.
It's an instant like, okay, no.
That's happened to me so many times and it makes me so uncomfortable.
Or it's just like I've realized people aren't very good at not talking about themselves. Well, of course you need to talk about yourself, but I've learned no one's very good at just conversation.
Yeah, or like asking a question.
Exactly.
Like, ask me something about myself.
No one does it.
Yeah.
Like it's like I want to know about you, but equally it's like I feel like because of social media, no one knows how to talk in person anymore. Dating's non-existent. I feel like also this is where the work I've done is not gone that far. Like I would never go up to someone and like initiate something.
You need to hang out with me more,
babe. I'm too like as you should. I just like can't, because in my head I'm like, if they say no, that will stay with me for life, and I won't, like, even though I know if I tell my friend it's not about you, it's about them, blah, blah, I know, but like for me, because of everything else,
and you said you carry things heavily,
I can't like bring myself to ever make a move or ever initiate. And I've also never believed that, like, because I have had people in the past that have liked me like through friendship groups and stuff, but I've never truly believed they've liked me. It could be like, oh, so and so liked, but I've never believed there is any interest unless they actively show it and say it. Because why would I believe it? Because it's not been my usual, you know? I've always been the friend growing up that boys would come to me to ask me if they're friends, like if my friend liked someone or liked them.
That's literally the story of
Bridesmaid.
my childhood.
Yeah. We all need to decenter, you know, validation from, you know, the opposite sex or the same sex. We need to, because otherwise you can't live your life, you know, seeking that. But there is something to be said in that if you don't ever receive that, you know, quite outrightly, like attention in that way, how do you know you're even desirable? If that makes sense.
That definitely makes sense. I think because even for me, like, I hate being catcalled. I've been catcalled since like I was 9, right? Because I had hips at a really young age, disgusting. Like grown men. Yeah. But then, and I hate to admit this, there's a small part of you that's like,
it's attention.
When I was getting bullied by boys at school that were telling me I was fat and ugly and no one would love me, I was still getting catcalled. Yeah. So I still was being told by 40-year-old men
affirming in the wrong way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I still knew that I was going to be sexualized and desired in that way. Yeah. So I hear you. I think as a woman, that is like, there's a component of you want to be made to feel desirable.
Exactly.
And I do
know that you are.
Yes. Yeah. And I do think it's tough because I always say when you're in your early 20s, my biggest advice for anyone in their early 20s, don't settle. Don't get in a long-term relationship. Oh God. Be free. My
list is like that long. Not of looks, but just like qualities.
Yes. Well, okay, that leads me. I was literally going to say, tell me your dream partner.
Okay, I think it's someone that, firstly, emotional maturity is everything. Someone that has a lot of interest. Like, the people I've spoken to have no interest.
Like, what do you like
I've spoken to 2 people, and it's like the gym or darts. And I'm like...
Darts?
Yeah, someone that, like all they care about is darts. I was like,
all in production laughing
What are you doing?
Now?
What are you doing at the weekend? Playing darts. What do you do for work? I work in darts. Okay,
no
great.
Way.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, I live on a farm and I play darts. And I was like,
okay.
And that's where I was like, let me just put a pause on dating. This isn't working. Or I was like, this guy was saying, oh, I love going to the gym. And I was like, that's fine. Like, oh, I know my brother loves going for his mental health. Why do you enjoy going? He was like, I just like getting strong. And I was like, oh God, this is not not working. And I was like, any other interests? No, just gym. And I was like, oh, what did you do today? Work and go to the gym. And I was like, oh, it's not working out. So like for me, like I'm really into fashion. So it's like a guy I used to hang out with, like we'd go thrifting or we'd go to exhibitions. It's like other stuff, like just
because also if your partner has interest, it allows them to be more creative. I feel like with like dates and adventures and and
it's like initial common ground and things to talk about. You know, interest in similar music, like we go to concerts together. But of course, it needs to like there's only as far as that gets you. That can also be a friend. Yeah, true. So for me, it's just someone that you know has emotional maturity, is understanding, communicates, listens. Is validating, but I think just gives you time, I think is the biggest thing. It's just kind and like fun. I think my life has been very dark and very heavy at times. So, you know, it's just having people that allow me, of course we will go through stuff, but having people that, same with friends, you know, qualities and friends that allow you to escape. I
think for you too, and this is me as well, you were saying it's really hard for you to be present. I find when I'm dating, the people that really spark my interest are the ones that I can be super present with. Yes. And there's so much like peace and tranquility in that.
I think I have got like a long list of things that I want and need because I'm a very complicated person and my life is very complicated. Everything is not spur of the moment. Everything needs an after, like everything has to be planned. Yeah. I feel like I can only settle to get what I want rather than get the person that like I feel is exactly right, if that makes sense, to actually get somewhere.
I don't believe that.
I know I'm my own worst enemy. Yeah. I know.
I think that you're going to find exactly what you want. I'm putting that energy out there for you.
Thank you.
I believe in humanity enough. Yeah. Even though it's dark sometimes. It is. I think you're just such a special person. I think anyone would be so lucky to be with you.
Thank you.
So I'm putting, also you're so young.
I know.
So like just
I think it's when you're
so much older in in your emotions and everything, but just try to remind yourself like you're 21. I think it's so hard to
we get so caught up in timelines. Like so and so having their first kiss or you know doing things by a certain 100%. Age or like whatever it may be. And so though I know I don't get caught up in timelines anymore. Yeah. And luckily I grew up in a friendship group as we got older that weren't in relationships. We were all kind of like figuring it out. So that was good for me because I think if everyone was in a relationship I would have been like, oh my God, I'm the only one.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm 32.
Yeah.
Just got out
You're
of a
32?
Yeah.
What?
Just got out of a long-term relationship.
I literally thought you were 25.
Everyone thinks I'm 26. That's the number
It must be the collagen because your skin looks amazing.
I told you I started drinking collagen.
It must be
Vital
that.
proteins. Let's do an ad. Oh my God. I'm 32 and I'm single, no kids. Like there's so much pressure from society, but I'm chilling. Yeah. I feel so happy with where I am right now. So like
everyone's route is different.
It's so true. It's so true. This conversation kind of leads me into my next question, which is what do you wish you were more confident about? And what are you doing to get there?
Oh, I love that question. I think I'm not very self-assured in even like decision making, if that makes sense. I know what I want, but truly believing in it and not letting other people's external thoughts sway me is something that I feel like I'm trying to learn more. Is like if I make a decision, if that's what I want, let me stick to it. If someone has a contrasting belief, don't let it alter that. So I think it's even that is like not retreating into like little Nikki that never wanted to like read in class or put her hand up or felt like she had anything good to say.
So you've been in the industry for a long time. Yeah. You've seen a lot of changes. There should be some more.
Yeah, more quickly, please.
Yes. What advice would you give to young influencers starting out today, especially when it comes to like online pressure?
I think don't start in this industry or posting videos unless you're doing it for you. Don't make it about the external things you can potentially get out of it or the validation you can potentially get out of it. Just do it for you. That's how I started. That's how you started. And I think that's when you will truly enjoy what you're doing.
Mental health and self-love are such a big pillar of what you do and what you advocate for. How do you use your platform to bring awareness to mental health, and why is that so important to you?
I think I've learned, social media went through an age, and it still is, where it became very curated. It truly was almost like Pinterest, posting your highlights. And I found that to be very toxic and very detrimental because it was then all just about comparison and you feeling less than in looks, in your life, in your job, in your achievements, whatever else. And so I've realized that actually sharing the hard times is even more important than sharing the good times, whether that's, I've done YouTube videos before where it's literally come with me to have a surgery or just talking about my mental health, saying like, I'm not okay. And I think I did a video called like, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And I just talked about what I'm going through mentally at the time.
People need to hear that. Like, it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. Even when I walked to the show the other day, I posted obviously the cool parts. But after my friend filmed, I didn't know she was filming it. My friend filmed a video of me squeezing my stress ball while I was getting my makeup done before the show. And I posted that and I was like, this was the reality. I was an anxious wreck.
Yeah.
I was not sure what I was going to do. I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was not enjoying it until it was over.
Yeah.
Like that was the reality. I didn't just go into it sure of myself like, yeah, I've got this.
And it's so important to share those bits.
Because that's what is real. That's what is true. And I feel like that's how, I'm sure you feel the same. You actually build a genuine relationship and audience and family.
And that trust. Because I'm showing you the deeper behind the scenes. Like so many people think as content creators, we have our whole lives figured out and everything's picture perfect. And it's like, we face a lot of deep stuff, mental health, anxiety. Like me personally, I had really bad panic attacks after COVID and I had to go on anti-anxiety medicine. It saved my life, which I'm so grateful for. But there's so much that happens behind the scenes.
When I'm going through a hard time, as happy as I am for other people's successes, and if they are genuinely as happy as they seem, which majority of people aren't when what they post, I really struggle with that. Like when I'm really going through it and then all I'm seeing is sunshine and rainbows and life is just so great. Because
sometimes you need
real.
that validation of seeing someone else going through it. Like, hey, I woke up and I feel like shit this morning and life isn't great.
I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. and
going to the gym and doing high rocks. Is that what it's called? High rocks?
I have no idea. I'm not doing 75 hard. It's not happening.
I will never, if I do 75 hard, call me and check on me.
You could
guys
not.
know I love to train, but like 75 hard, it's just
it's not happening.
For me personally, I don't judge anyone that does it. For me personally,
good for you. But I just, for me, I share, but I don't force in a sense that like I share what I share. I partly share it for myself because it's it's cathartic in a way. But I'm not forcing anyone to absorb it or believe it or watch it. You know? But if they can take something from it, whatever that is, then that's job done to me personally. And I think also it's just giving people some insight into my life, especially as someone who's had 98 surgeries. I was in a coma when I was younger. Like I've been through unimaginable, unfathomable things that only a niche amount of people can relate to, that I think it's also just a bit of insight because I think empathy and compassion comes from insight more than anything. And I think sometimes we're not very aware these days of the world that's happening outside of ours because understandably, our world matters most. We are the main character in it. We're also self-centered, which is, of course, always put yourself first. But then it desensitizes us a little bit to the people outside of our bubble. So it's definitely difficult to work out what I share, and it really depends on the time. Like that I'm in mentally. But I've never regretted sharing more than I meant to share, if that makes sense.
Oh, I received that.
I
feel like I needed to hear that because it's true. It's like when you put yourself out there, it can be scary and overwhelming. But I've never really regretted being vulnerable or open.
Not at all.
It allows people to connect with you more.
And I always appreciate when other people do it.
Yes,
as well.
Same. No, that's so true. Okay, so you've done so much in your career. You have so much going.
It feels like it wasn't me, but it is.
Like I know, it's crazy. It's like it's been so long too.
I know.
But so what's next for you? Like, are you working on any new projects, campaigns, opportunities? I mean, being in this industry, I know you can't talk too much.
I'm going to be that person. It's like, I have some stuff in the pipeline, but I just can't talk about it right now, which actually is the case.
No, I feel
There's something coming in a couple of months that I'm really, really excited about because for me, like I said, things have to feel fulfilling. And when my life has felt so out of my control, it's so nice to have projects that, from start to end you work on that feel like they are going somewhere and moving forwards when life feels so stagnant or like out of your control. It's so nice to have something that you're like, this is my baby. I can work on this, you know. I felt the same in the past when like I wrote my book and stuff like that. It's like crazy to see something evolve into like what you imagined and it's control. This is something that I've wanted to do for ages and it's kind of a way for me to compile everything we've spoken about and more. Also with, I am the patron for Face Equality International, which is one of the only charities in the world that does work around social justice and legislation to do with facial differences.
Oh, wow.
And I think for me, that is something that I really want to continue doing more with because, there's only so much, like I said, you can talk about things and it feel like, people acknowledge it, but then just move on with life, whether that's, discrimination towards people with facial differences, whatever it is. I'm sure people acknowledge it and absorb it, but then life moves on and then they forget about it, like we do with everything. What I really want to do more of is working, like I said, alongside social media companies to speak to the people that control the social policies and the legislative laws, even government, because there is nowhere near enough done. The apps know that. The contacts I have at the apps know that. And so I think it's got to the point where I want to see true, solid change, not just something spoken about, an awareness that then is just gone.
Swept under the rug.
Yeah.
If you need any help or backing with that, please call me. Seriously, because
genuinely I will.
Would speak to that. I would stand with you.
And I know you'll
yes,
come
I will.
Force.
Like, yes, 100%. And that's something I really believe in as well. So.
And it's not just about facial difference. It's about size. It's about color. It's about any type of discrimination.
It's about our autonomy. It's about our bodies. It's about our, and then our mental health. It's like so much deeper.
And it's just all about, social media should and was created to be a place of connection, escapism. That's why I fell in love with it. To learn new things, to find new things, to find communities that you never really felt you had in your own life. And it's allowed me to connect with other people with facial differences or even my condition, which is so rare.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful in that way. And that's why I believe, it can be so powerful. But somewhere along the lines, that message and that meaning has got lost. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
And so for me, all I want to do is just make these places that should be places of enjoyment. It's got lost. So for me, I really want to work with social media platforms to change that.
Yeah.
And something else I'd love to do, which is just a dream of mine.
So it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Putting it out there. I think they know. I've said it so many times now. But I really, really want to work with Barbie on creating a Barbie with a facial difference because they've never changed Barbie's face.
Yes.
They've done a lot, moving forwards actually with inclusion. Like they've got a Barbie that's in a wheelchair now.
Yeah.
They've got a Barbie that is blind. Like they've got one with Down syndrome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But they have never changed her face. And I just want it to be a Barbie. Okay, it's Barbie with a facial difference, but it's just a Barbie. And I think learning about inclusion, no one's born prejudiced. No one's born, believing that...
We're taught these things.
Yeah, we are taught. And it's embedded. And I think you learn the most when you're young. Children are sponges. And so from toys, from, shows they consume. So I think that would be so special to have a doll that has a facial difference that children are just playing with. And it's just another one.
I love that.
So
Barbie, you hear that? We have plug with Barbie over here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Barbie, this now.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something that I would love to do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question about AVM?
Yeah, of course.
So are you able to live a long, healthy life with this, or do you fear for your life?
I have definitely in the past feared for my life. Okay. I've been in life or death situations. I've got chronic PTSD from a lot of things I've been through. I don't think I'll ever not live in fight or flight mode. Like any place I go, I'm looking for the exit in case something happens, I need to leave. My life has constantly not been in my control. When a bleed comes on, I could be fine right now and in 1 minute have a bleed. So I think it's never felt mine. And so yeah, I don't think that will ever, that's what I'm kind of working through in therapy. I don't think I'll ever feel like I have complete autonomy over my life or my body or my condition. I'm at a place now where luckily, hopefully, like touch wood, my things seem a little bit more stable. I still have nosebleeds, I still have pain, I still have a lot of issues. I'll never be free of those. Like at night, I have to take my eyes shut. There's a lot of things I have to think about with my condition. Most of the time my mum travels with me if it's like going abroad somewhere because she has to be around in just in case. So will I ever feel that freedom, that weight, like I can just live a normal, healthy, happy life? No, because it's not my reality. However, I think I'm just trying to learn to redefine what normal is. Yeah. I think I'm just learning that like I can't do certain things. I can't drive because I'm blind in this eye. I won't be able to like carry my own child just because of the pressure of it, like, on me and the hormones. Yeah. And there's, lots of other things to that. But I think you have to just focus on the things you can do, not the things you can't. And that's, I think, it's like a half cup, half full mentality than cup half empty. And you know what? A lot of my life, I am pretty pessimistic because I've always been disappointed by doctors, by my condition, by my body. I've constantly been let down. It's what I know. However, I'm learning that if we don't just live our life before we know it, it'll be over. It could be over tomorrow for any of us. So if we don't just have the live in the moment mentality, then what is the point?
That's so true.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a quick fire round.
Okay,
I love this part. Okay, ready?
Hopefully I can actually be quick.
No one ever is. What's your self-love language?
I think just time to myself.
Quality time.
Yeah, quality time for
That's
sure.
mine too.
To myself.
Yes. Yeah, same. What's your confidence level from 1 to 10 today?
Oh, I think speaking to you, it's like an 8 out of 10.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. What's one brand you would love to work with? We know the answer to that. Barbie.
Yeah.
Get it together. Do you have a mantra or affirmation that helps you feel confident?
I don't know if there's like a mantra or an affirmation, but I think it's like, just be you. Like, I think I have to just remind myself to embrace myself sometimes, especially when I'm doing things that scare me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, just be you. That's it. That's what you can do.
I love that. I forgot you guys say mantra.
Yeah. Mantra.
We say mantra.
I love it. Mantra.
What's one thing you're prioritizing for yourself right now?
Just how I use my time. I think time is like the limitless like commodity we have. There's no price on it. It's the most important thing you can have yourself and also give other people is your time. So I think it's just how I use my time. I think it's hard, obviously, with this like job. Sometimes things are so last minute, or you're like here, you're there, you're everywhere. And of course that's work, but I think it's like what I do outside of work.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to prioritize how I spend that time.
Who is someone that inspires you?
Oh, I don't really have like a celebrity or someone that inspires me. I think my mom inspires me a lot. Yeah, in that she has always had the mentality of we just have to keep going. Like she's just always lived that way. And if, you know, we've all gone through so much that just isn't fair. She's gone through stuff as a mother that just is not fair. We all have, you know. And I feel the same way with my dad. We've all gone through stuff that is unfathomable and could make anyone just stop and break down and be like, what's the point? But I think she's always had that mentality of like, we just have to keep going, like, you know. And of course there's times where you need to stop and you need to, you know, that's where she needs a little bit of work. But she's such a strong woman, and, you know, she was the one that was constantly with me when I was going through everything, when my dad had to be at work. And so she understands what I've been through more than anyone, in a different way, as a mother who's had a very sick child. So yeah, I'd say her.
I love that. If you could change one thing about the influencer world, what would it be?
Oh, I think the surface levelness of it. I mean, every industry has that, but it just does feel quite transactional. And I don't like how high school it feels. Sometimes it does feel like a hierarchy.
Yes.
It's even the same way.
LA's worse, let me just tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, I can't say that I like envy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like.
Don't go there.
Even in fashion, right? It's like you have like, okay, there's 4 rows of, you know, people to sit, and it's like the best people that's seen as best will be the front row. That is just school.
I know. If there's one piece of advice you could give to little Nikki, what would it be?
I think it would be to embrace the things that you're running away from as your superpower. I think I would just want to give her a hug and tell her that like things will be okay. You will survive it, because at times I didn't think I would. So I think it's just like the things you hate about yourself are the things you'll learn that are the things that have pushed you this far, basically. So don't run away from them, embrace them.
I love that. This might be similar or different. What advice would you give to someone struggling with a facial difference?
I think it would be try your best to be kind to yourself, and kind of similarly that though the world may not accept you, the most important person that has to accept you is you. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. That's my favorite saying, because, you know, if you can't be the change you want to see in the world, then the change never will happen.
Yeah. That's so real. That's for anyone that
for
has
anyone.
Any type of difference
for
too.
sure. Like anything, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah,
so unfortunately, you may have to be that person that like starts the change. Yeah, but if it doesn't start, then it will never start.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Nikki, before we finish, we've now come to the point where I'm going to give you my Confidence Hour book.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I'm going to have you write a quote, an affirmation, a personal mantra. Is that how you say it? Mantra?
Yeah,
mantra. Or something you want for the audience to inspire people, for little Nikki, for your younger self. Everyone has signed it. I'm going to have you sign it. I'm going to give you a moment to do that.
Amazing.
And I'm going to have you share it with us.
Yay. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, Nikki, I'm excited to hear
Okay,
what
so
you
read
wrote.
it.
Yes.
It's not your life if you're constantly worrying about what other people think of you. So live your life limitlessly before it's too late. You'll never regret being you.
Oh, I love that. You'll never
I was like, what do I say?
You. No, that was perfect. You'll never regret being you. I love that. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for
being
having
so
me.
honest, open, vulnerable. I feel like this was a really beautiful conversation,
I
and
can't
it taught
believe
me so much.
how long we've spoken.
I know. It's incredible. I love it though. I really love like connecting with people in this way. And
you know,
I'm so
it's
glad I was
good
able
when
to
it
get you
just
here.
it flows.
Yes, it just flows naturally. And that's a wrap on another episode of The Confidence Hour with me, Dani DMC. If this video made you feel a little bit more heard, seen, or even more confident, please tag someone that needs to hear it. Please share this video. You never know how it could impact someone. And remember, confidence isn't about perfection. It's about showing up anyway. So stay bold, stay grounded, and stay you. And I'll see you very soon. Bye.
Yeah.